Hey guys, it's Kamrin and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing kind of like a more relaxed video. Today we're doing a girl talk. I asked you guys to ask me questions on my Instagram. I am planning to make this a segment on my channel where like once a month we just do this, but most of the time we're going to talk about one dedicated topic. On Instagram I had all you girlies send me all you guys' questions and that's what we're doing today. We're gonna just chat. Alright, so the first question is, what are some of your favorite products for moisturizing? I have really dry skin like around my body and stuff. I actually use this $1 body lotion from the dollar store. It is the best freaking lotion ever. I always moisturize after I get out of the shower. For my skin, underneath my makeup, I started applying, it's like the knockoff Pond's version. It's like Walmart's Equate version of moisturizer. I put it underneath my makeup and it makes my makeup so freaking glow, you guys. Like, oh my god, it's amazing. Both of them together are like $3. So can you talk about hygiene? Obviously moisturizing is like a part of hygiene. Let's just cut to the chase and we're gonna start talking about cooters. Coochie corner. The gooch corner talk. I am a really big person on trying to make sure that my pH balance is leveled, because ever since I was little, I've just always been super prone to UTIs. I used to get them every single time I would go to the pool when I was a little girl. I like to use Sunrise Eve. I used to get really bad UTIs when I was using tampons. Before I started using tampons, I was like, listen, this is not going in my coochie. Like, I am not shoving something up there. My mom never taught me how to put them in or anything. It was my best friend, and she was like in the other room telling me how to put it in there, and I actually put the plastic part in my vagina when I first started it, and yeah, that was a mess. I didn't start using tampons till a little later in life. They were giving me like super bad UTIs and I had to switch to organic tampons. Personally, I don't like using pads because I feel like pads are kind of gross. Can't anymore. But I do get a lot of questions as well about like shaving and stuff like that. I personally experience really bad razor bumps. No matter what, if you have thicker hair, it's really likely that you could get razor bumps and things like that. I used to shave and that's why I had like the worst case of razor bumps. I had so many dark marks, like it was horrible. I'm still dealing with like significant dark marks and razor bumps, but definitely not as bad as it was when I was shaving. So I completely cut out shaving. I won't go to a shoot, I won't take pictures, I don't care. Like, I am not shaving. I only do waxes, and that seriously helped me so much with my bikini line. If you are shaving and you're getting like, you're prone to ingrown hairs, stop shaving. Like, that is so bad for you. As well, I stopped wearing like underwears that fall right on my bikini line. So I always wear underwears that are either outside the bikini line or higher up, because if you're walking around all day with that, it's basically aggravating that line right there, and that tends to be like the most sensitive spot. I use this bikini line product, gosh, Pure Tropics bikini line. They're I can't even think of it. Their ingrown hair remover. You have to get this product. It saved me. There's also this like little bottle. It's called Get the Bump Out of Here that my wax lady gave me, and I swear by that product too. I kind of switch off between the two of them. It just really depends like what I have near me at the time. Someone else asked, boy advice in high school / personal experience. Where do we start with this? In terms of advice, you are going to be so immature and there's going to be so many mistakes that you make, and that is okay. It's all a learning process. For me, I had a really big issue with being insecure and finding my happiness and my confidence in a man. You should never go into a relationship or having emotions for someone else if you're looking to them to complete yourself. I didn't feel beautiful unless someone told me that I was beautiful. I didn't feel like I was good enough unless someone told me that I was good enough. I had very much so the personality of like, let me please you, instead of knowing in myself like, I am fucking bomb, and if you don't like me, then that's your freaking problem, and I'm not here to make you better, and I'm not here for you to make me better. Like, any relationship you ever have, you guys should be good by yourselves but better together. Like, if you guys watched my old Q&A with my first like relationship or my first love, or I don't even know what to call it, then you would understand that I initially started off with a very toxic idea of relationships and stuff like that. I always grew up with the mentality that, you know, like I was taught, just don't even talk to boys. You don't kiss till you're engaged. You don't have sex till marriage. You can have a boyfriend after you get married. I was very uneducated about like how to deal with situations. I was basically just taught that men are trash. They only want you for sex and you need to stay away from them. I was very inexperienced, very insecure, and I let myself get swept up into this very toxic relationship with a guy who displaced all of his own insecurities and emotions and stuff out onto me. You know, like he told me I was fat and I was ugly, and he would constantly try and tell me like, oh, if your hair was like this, you would be cute, or if you had this girl's body, like you would be this way. Lots of things that, like, now that I'm older and I understand things, I understand it was his own issues. Everything that like I saw him telling me was wrong with me, I see him now like struggling with those very things. Like I understand, like I have no resentment towards this person anymore, and I'm so glad that I grew from that and I'm the person I am today. I remember my principal, who I was really close with, something that like stuck with me so much that I seriously notice in my boyfriend now is he's like, find a man who is creative, who reads, because that's the kind of man that focuses on detail, and he'll pay attention to you and cater to you and treat you well. I used to date guys that were just like, dude, like goofballs. Like they literally had no goals, no ambitions in life, like they didn't do anything. My boyfriend now, like he's a very artistic individual, he's very focused, he's very driven. Like definitely look for someone who is very conscientious of details and is very in tune with emotions. It's gonna be really hard in high school. Like you're gonna have horrible relationships, you're gonna have people who don't treat you right, you're gonna settle for less. My relationship before, I didn't even know that it was toxic. I didn't even know that there was all these things wrong with it till I got out of it. I constantly dealt with the problem of like another girl in the relationship that was his best friend, and I felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like I had to be this super easy girlfriend. Like, nah sis, have your freaking rules. You're not your significant other's mother, but like you are definitely there to be respected. For me, something I was really attracted to for some reason when I was younger was like, the more problematic you are and the harder it is for me to get you, the more I like you. Like, you treat me like shit, oh my god. I look back at that now, I'm like, girl, what the hell were you doing? Like, why was that cute to you? Every relationship should never start out hard. How to be more motivated to work out, I lack in that so much. I am not a workout crackhead. I do not like going to the gym. You know, some days I'm like, woo, going to the gym, but most of the time I don't want to go. But for me, I realized like if I made it kind of like a schedule, like if I was just like, okay, I go every single morning and I just get it out of the way, like that's how I'm more motivated as well. You guys could see Katya's ass. Every time I open my phone, I have to look at that, and it's like, okay, well, let me get my little flat ass up to the gym and let's go. And I personally have to look good for my job, so like that's kind of a little bit of a motivator for me too, because I'm like, okay, if I go tomorrow and I take a picture and I don't like the way I look, I'm gonna be really upset that I didn't go to the gym. What's your biggest pet peeve when it comes to other girls? I think the biggest thing that probably bothers me is just like fake people. I don't think it's like specific to girls. Obviously there's guys that do it, but I think it is like a little bit more common for girls because we are very big on like, okay, I don't like confrontation, because guys will just like beat the shit out of each other and then like next week they're like, all right bro, whatever, like we got that out of the way. Girls, we're just more like conniving and stuff. I hate things that aren't just, you know, like out there. Like I just hate that. Do you have nipple piercings? What was it like getting them? I love you, by the way. Love you too. I have one nipple piercing. Mine barely really shows up ever because I don't have like a protruding nipple, I guess, or whatever. For me, it really wasn't like that bad of a piercing, to be honest. I got it, I think like the middle of my senior year, beginning of my senior year. Getting my nose pierced hurt way worse than getting that. Like a nipple piercing is just like a quick, short, like sting. So I have a lot of questions on confidence. Can you give tips on how to be confident, not what people think? How are you confident enough to take pictures in public? How do you stay confident and unbothered? So a lot of you guys are just like wondering a lot about confidence. This one's gonna be another one of these like long story explanations. Growing up, I was never the girl that had a ton of friends. Always had really short hair when I was growing up. My dad always cut it down to like a little tiny pixie cut. From the age of like when I was born to 11 years old, I always had really short hair. When I was younger, people would always be like, oh, are you a cancer patient? Like, are you dying? If you're a boy, why do you have earrings? Like, why do you look like that? I basically just grew up with like my dad and my brother. I was around a lot of adults when I was growing up because of my dad's job. My only friends and my surroundings were adults. I was always the teacher's pet because I gravitated towards adults. I didn't get nice comments from anyone except for adults. I was the weird kid. Like, I, you know, studied anatomy and I made leaf books, and I was that girl that walked around with her freaking nose in a book 24/7. Like, everywhere. I would walk and read a book in the grocery store. Like, I was obsessed with reading. I wrote a whole novel before. I didn't have a lot of confidence growing up until I got to, I would say, like 8th grade or like my high school year. 8th grade I was homeschooled, so I basically got a break from everything, and I just came back and I was like, you know what, I am freaking sick and tired of not being happy with myself and letting people's words get to me, because basically my entire life I was just like bullied. And so in high school I was like, I'm not confident, but I'm just literally going to pretend that I am confident. There's always going to be people that don't like you. There's always going to be people that want to change you. You're never going to satisfy everyone. You're literally never going to. I was like, well, why am I caring so much about like what other people think? Like, these people do nothing for my life. When you stop worrying about people who literally don't pay your bills, will do absolutely nothing for you, when you stop worrying about them, oh my god, life gets so much better. I think I say this in every single video. Nobody pays my bills except for me. Worry about you and whoever is paying your bills, satisfying them, and that's it. And that goes for like taking pictures in public and stuff too. I get a lot of people that stare at me, they look at me, they film me, they ask me, why am I taking so many pictures? Why am I so conceited? And it's like, dude, you do literally nothing for me. And once you just have that persona, even if you're like faking it, it really just, it just becomes you. How do you deal with body insecurities that you literally can't change and hate? This kind of plays into confidence as well. Just the fact that you say that you literally can't change is a really, really big deal. If you hated the way the sky looked and every day you looked at it and you're like, oh my god, it's blue and I want it to freaking be purple, but you cannot make it purple, how much longer are you gonna sit there and worry about it? So you might as well just embrace it. For me personally, I don't like my nose. I talk about it a lot on Instagram, that my eye, I think it's my right eye. See, I don't even know which eye it is. I think it's my right eye. I'm pretty sure it's my right eye. My right eye is a little bit lower than my left eye. People ask me if I'm cross-eyed. I absolutely hate it. Like, there's all these things that are wrong with me per se, and someone might look at me and be like, oh my god, you're the prettiest person ever, how could you think these things are wrong with you? We tend to be our hardest critics, and we notice things about ourselves that literally no one else is going to notice. For me, I'm not going to spend $30,000 to get my nose fixed and my eyes raised up. For what? You can't change that unless you're planning to go spend thousands of dollars on surgery. And let me tell you, even the women or the men that spend thousands of dollars on surgeries, there is still something they don't like about themselves. At the end of the day, it is just so much better and cheaper to embrace who you are and love everything that is beautiful about you and everything that is wrong about you, because that is literally the way you were made, and you just can't change it unless you have $1 million, and even then you probably wouldn't like it either. So who cares? Love you. That's literally the best thing that you can do. How many glute days do you have a week? I have 3 right now. I basically just do cardio, abs, and glutes. How did you get over your ex? I'm having some trouble. Well, I guess we're gonna spill some tea on here today. My ex-boyfriend, I was with him for almost a year. He was my first boyfriend ever, and I learned a lot from that relationship, and I am seriously grateful to everything that he taught me, and I do appreciate all the good times that we had together. We are not good friends. We are not friends at all. We don't get along. There is a lot of drama around that whole situation. I personally broke up with him just because we were in a long distance relationship, and there was a lot of miscommunication and a lot of distrust in the relationship. He was very concerned about me with someone else, and I was very concerned about him with another girl. For me, I think the only reason why I was so attached to him after that relationship was literally just because when you're with someone for a year, you find so much comfort in them, and they are basically like home to you, and it's kind of weird to just pick up and move on despite me no longer wanting to be in the relationship. It was really weird. For me, it was just like a little bit easier because it was an ugly breakup. He tended to be a very aggressive person, and I tend to be very petty and manipulative when backed against a wall, and we were just like this. I just kind of sat down and was like, why am I going to be stuck on someone that I don't trust, that I don't want anything to do with, just because I have been with them for this amount of time? I grew a lot from it, and I appreciate everything that I experienced with him and the time that we had together, but just wasn't for me anymore. You have to realize that you're not with them for a reason. Find other things to put your time on. It's okay to grieve. I think a lot of times people are always just like, oh, just move on, like don't worry about it anymore. But grieving is such an important part of moving on from things. Having your moments where you're like, okay, I really just want to sit in my room and cry for a whole day. Do it, sis, like do it, but don't let it hinder your life. How do you deal with criticism as a social media influencer? Also, I love your channel. Oh, thank you so much. I've known I've always wanted to do this. Don't think that like I just sit here and I'm like, oh my god, someone just called me an ugly cow. I don't care. Of course there are gonna be certain comments that get to me. I am human, I do have emotions, but I know who I am, and I know that this is what I love to do, and I know that they are one out of tons more that are so kind to me and say the nicest things to me. A lot of times people are just literally coming on the internet to take out all the bad crap that's going on in their life on someone they never have to look in front of their face. Personally, none of you are going to come up to my face and tell me that I am a cross-eyed dumb. So I am here to do what I love and to secure the check. Your comment is only engagement on my page, so thanks for that. Let's talk about waist training. When you started seeing results, what trainers you recommend? I have multiple waist training videos on my page, so you can definitely go check those out. I will be releasing my own line in August, so I'm not recommending any waist trainers except for those. Someone asked, can you please talk about growing up mixed? Growing up mixed for me never really became an issue till I was like 6 or 7. Like I mentioned before, I always was with my father, so he had a lot of like clients and stuff that he would go with, and sometimes he would mention to me like, oh, someone is acting weird around you, or he would be like, oh, I can't bring you in here because, you know, these people are kind of nasty towards darker skin tone people. My father is mixed, but he's more on like the white side, like he looks more Caucasian than he does mixed. The only reason his skin is very tan is because he's always out in the sun. He basically made it aware to me that people look at you and they see that you're black, and that could be a problem. Then I started to realize, you know, like, oh, my hair's curly. Like my dad would always be like, oh, you have this nappy headed hair, we need to cut it, we need to deal with this nappy hair. My dad was never, like, he never said things, I don't think he meant to say those things to me like in a way to degrade me as like being mixed or things, because he did grow up, he is mixed himself, he did grow up in a black community, but it was just like the way it was shown to me was not in the best manner. When I was around like 12, 13, I started to really not like being black. I more so gravitated towards trying to appear Caucasian, I guess you would say. It wasn't until I got around like 14 or 15 that I was like, I am freaking black. Like I would be like, oh, I'm not black, I'm Hispanic. Like, first of all, yeah, Hispanic is an ethnicity. My mom was always very big on that. Like, she's like, you guys are black, but you're Hispanic, but you're black. That, it was like around high school, I had like someone around me that was constantly trying to belittle me for being black. He would be like, oh, you're not black, you're Hispanic, or like make jokes about like, oh, go back to picking cotton. And I just saw like how horrible it was that people would degrade black skin or act like it's a bad thing. And then like sometimes there would be people that were like, oh, you're not black enough. How am I not black enough? Like, I'm not white. I wouldn't be black enough for the black people, and I wouldn't be white enough for the white kids, and I didn't know how to speak Spanish, so I wasn't Hispanic enough for the Hispanics. Even to this day, have people tell me like, oh, you're not actually like really black. It's like, yeah, I am. I'm not only mixed, but I'm also multicultural, so it's just like, it's really hard because I never fit into a category. I have watched people my entire life degrade darker skin. I have seen friends that I've been around that were dark skinned that are like, oh, I can't go out into the sun because I'm gonna get darker. What's the problem with that? Why did people sit here and teach you that being dark is a bad thing? I get people constantly on my Instagram that are like, oh, you're too dark, like you need to stop going out in the sun, you need to stop tanning, like you're not gonna be light skinned anymore. Guess what? I don't give a flying about being light skinned. To me, the darker you are, the more beautiful you are, the lighter you are, the more beautiful you are. Black comes in every freaking shade there could possibly be, and black is beautiful, and I am proud of the melanin that I have, and I am proud of my curly hair, and I am proud of who I am, and I will never ever let anyone degrade me for being too light or for being too dark. I don't care. It's enough for us to have to deal with racism to this day still. If there are black people that are like instilling this crap into your mind, like that you're better if you're lighter skinned and you're not as good if you're darker skinned, is just so sickening to me. Like, I think that is just disgusting. I will continue to always support darker skinned individuals and lighter skinned individuals. I will just continue to support being black. How do you deal with being a female YouTuber who works out? Like, people talking down on you, maybe about your form or whatever else they may say. Honestly, I really don't care. Like I said, it's the internet. People are always gonna say really stupid things about you. Any advice for being a small channel? I often lose motivation because I see I only have like 77 subscribers and I feel as though I put a lot of work into my channel. I'm going to get a MacBook to help with editing, but sometimes I get so discouraged. I also feel like I have good ideas personally, but they don't work out as well once I post. YouTube is the hardest platform to start on. First of all, it's a whole lot of filming, it's a whole lot of editing, and it's about putting out searchable content. My mom shoves this down my throat every freaking second. If you guys didn't know, my mom is a full-time YouTuber. She has her own channel. It's called Lumahat. The biggest thing that is the most important thing is having searchable content. A lot of times I see when people are starting channels, and more specifically beauty channels, they like to do a lot of vlogs, they like to do a lot of hauls, they like to do a lot of makeup tutorials, things that when people get onto YouTube they are not looking up. For example, on my channel, my top 2 videos are my Does Waist Training Really Work and my beginner's workout routine. These 2 are both very searchable content. Of course, you can do your vlogs and you can do your hauls and your makeup tutorials, but when you're starting out as a channel, you want to attract people to your page. In order to do that, you have to have content that people are searching up. I highly suggest getting YouTube TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy is a plugin for Google Chrome, so when you are uploading your videos, it will suggest you tags so that you are putting the tags that people are searching up and ensuring that YouTube is recommending your video. I would just say have patience. It's a very, very slow boat to China. You just have to be consistent. Make sure that you are doing your best to increase your followers on Instagram and YouTube because they do go hand in hand. Don't give up. Like, literally, I tell people all the time, you know, when you're first starting out, it is literally quantity over quality. You want to make sure that you're spreading yourself across the base as much as you possibly can. If you have 55 videos, you are more likely to have someone watch one of those 55 videos than if you have like 20 videos that were so freaking good that you spend so much time on. And many times with informative searchable content, people don't care if you filmed it on your freaking potato. As long as you got that information out there and they understood it, they are more likely to subscribe and more likely to come back and watch. That is it for this video. I'm gonna stop talking. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I look forward to next girl talk. We're probably gonna choose on Instagram what topic we're going to go into depth about. That's gonna be it for today's video. Make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, as well as subscribe. I upload videos every Wednesday and Sunday. And make sure you follow all my social media. It will be down in the description box down below. But that is it for me, guys, today. Thank you so freaking much for watching. I love y'all the very most. I'll see you guys next time.
Making money like a man.